Hey, welcome. I wanted to create this short video on how to flip the cube on our state contest. I have a longer video that shows the entire process, which would have been the state contest part 2, where we grab the cube off the feeder station and then we put it on to the defect detector. But what I wanted to do is just reinforce this process with this short video of just showing you how to flip the cube and that process that we would go through in order to get it over here to the cube itself, and then finishing up the process. So I want to continue with showing you how to do that. So right now I have the robot homed, and you can see then that these pieces that we have in front of you with the programming have already been created. We've already done it in a couple of videos. That's our Obama signature move in order to be able to pull the cube. So I have a cube right over the dot right now. So what I have done is that one was position number 5, and we've got it close to where we have the numbers that are fairly close to getting it over the cube. We might want to extend it just a little bit forward. Maybe we call it 390, 0, 160 at this point, and then teach so that we can redo this. And I don't know if you'll be able to see but the cube moved just a little bit forward. So then what we're going to do then is create position number 6. And I think I put those numbers in already so that as the cube comes down, it's going to place itself right onto the square. Now what I had to do was, earlier in that other video, I looked at how to put this thing together, so we had to move it a little bit to the right, no, to the left, would be to the left with the negative. And then let's add that line to the list. And then let's see how close then that, as it comes down close to that square. So it's really pretty good. Again, this is something that you can tweak a little bit. Maybe we pushed it down a little too hard. If we were to come back, come up a little bit instead of going down so far. Okay. Also, we still have this light back here, so our detector is working correctly, so that there is a position on that cube. Now, you can see there is a dimple in it, so at some point or another, we're going to find that dimple, and it's going to create a true statement for us that this didn't come on. So we'll have to work around that, but that's what we're looking for, and that's what we're trying to find. But let me run through the whole series and try to give you an idea of what we're trying to do. So this idea is that we want to flip the cube to check the other 4 sides. So right now we're checking 1, and we can start right here by saying, well, we gotta let the computer think about this, and the robot then has to make a decision. Anytime that we've asked the robot to make a decision, though, we put in a wait time. So let's put in the 25/10 of a second for the wait time, and then we're looking for a true statement. So, is the light off? That's what we're looking for, when the dimple would show up, and that is input number 3. And if it finds that light, and if it's off, then we want to jump to a line called defect, and then that will be a label that we'll put in down in our program somewhere so that it can jump to that label. But in the meantime, we've just checked side 1, so I am actually Gonna make sure that when I'm counting this is that when we put it down here at this point, I'm gonna put in a remark and call it side 1. So now notice it inserts itself, but it doesn't really make any difference to the computer and the controller what it does, because it'll just zoom past this. This is really only for my benefit or the reader's benefit, because I don't want to do more than one side. We've had kids that have actually checked it more than one side, so we don't want to do that. So now we're checking for the defect, and at this point there was no defect, so the light comes on, so then that would be a true statement. So now let's figure out how to get to the next. So we already have a position 5 that works really good. So let's leave that position 5. And then let's go to it so the robot will pick up the cube. And now we need to make a position number 7. So let's just take a look and see how we're going to do that. Well, let's get to numbers for position 5. Now that's where we are right now. But what we want to do though is that we want to rotate that thing 90 degrees, and we're going to do that by setting the pitch as 0. Now in my earlier video I made a mistake and I put in the roll, and that wasn't right. So make sure that you change the pitch. But now don't hit the teach button until you change this to position 7. Now teach. And now let's add 7 to our line. And now watch what happens to position 7. Beauty. All right. Now, we've noticed though there's something peculiar about this robot, that over the years this thing has been abused, and that 0 point on our roll isn't necessarily a good thing. So we're going to add just a little bit of English to this, and I think that we were putting it into a +5. So let's check to see if the 5 is the direction that we want to go, because it may not be. It may be negative. So let's see what happens. Oh, it did. So that was a good thing. So it was 5. You know, if you make a mistake and try it, I don't remember all the time when I put this stuff in, if it's going to do it or not, but sometimes you just get lucky and you make the right guess. All right, so now we've taught this, and now in our new position, number 8 has to come back down here. So then we have to change this in order to put it at the table. But just for shits and giggles, you know our position 6 has a good number for putting it on the table. Let's just look and make a note. So 117 on our Z looks like a good number. So let's go back to 7, get to position 7. Now let's make this position 8. So make the 8 here. We'll change this to 117. We'll teach it. Let's add add number 8 to our list of programming, and now let's see what happens to the cube. All right, so it's quite a bit off. So see, when we turned it, we don't necessarily have it right on the dot anymore because the cube has been repositioned. So we're going to have to tweak our number 8 to be able to put it right here up on the center. Now it did cue the button, get cue number 3 light, but we got to be much, much closer now that we've repositioned ourselves to be able to put it back on the square. So let's just work on this. So we have to come back, I bet you about 10 millimeters. So let's reduce this by 10. So let's go 385, teach Let's see what that does. So you should be able to see the cube move back a little bit. All right. We can move even more. Let's call it 375. Teach. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to have it go up to 7. And now let's come back down. And that is, oh man, that's really good. That's really, really close. We could come just to the, to my right, just a little bit, no, to the other way, up to the left. Camera's reversing it a little bit because you can see this line and you can see it's over here a little bit. So how about we try like a -3 and we'll teach. So let's go back up to 7, then let's have it put it down again. All right, so it's got a lot of pressure that it's pushing down. Maybe you don't need quite so much. Let's try that. You can see that the robot is actually twisting the arm a little bit. Let's see how it does now. Okay, better. Not so much push. Still the light comes on. Okay. All right. Well, I guess that could do it. How about we do 2 more? Let's do 1, 2, 2. And teach. So now let's just go back up and come back down. So let's do 7 and 8. All right. Now I don't necessarily. I'm going to go back forward a little bit. I'm really kind of watching those squares, and we could move forward a little bit. Let's call it 377. And let's see how that does. I mean, you want to be really, really close, and that looks pretty good. All right, I'd say that's good enough for the girls we go out with. Now, so there's how you watch me create that position 8. So now what do we want to do? Well, now we're going to go ahead and let's just add our line item on here, because remember now that this is checking side 2. So there's our side 2 that we've checked. So now what do we want to do? Well, we have to make it wait. We want to wait time. And then we have to ask it, is there a dimple or not? Now this is the line item that we want to use. Now you can recreate that by doing it, or I like at this point, if I've got the commands I've already put in, I can copy that and put the blue line down here and then paste it, and then I don't have to do it again. So let's put our remark. Now let's go to side 3. Now here, I really should let go of it. Because I want to reach up, grab it around, and spin it again. So at this point then, I'm going to open the grip. And then let's do that. Let's watch it open the grip. So now you did see it drop some. So that's why we, up here at position 8, why we really wanted to make sure that we weren't pushing down too hard, because we've kind of moved past the center of that part. I am just going to take, and before I move on, Let's switch this. And then we'll see what happens as we go through it. So there is our, just changed our 8 a little bit. Okay, so now I've opened the grip. So now let's go back to a position that we know works pretty well. And position 6 was the one that actually put it down here, and it's straight up and down. So we've used 6 before. So let's add 6, because we want that robot then to lift that arm straight up and still be centered up on the cube to be able to grab it. And that looks really nice. Okay, so let's close the grip. So as we do this, we do it one at a time. Okay, so now what do we want to do? We want to lift, turn, and put it back down. Lift, turn, and then put it back down. Number 5 is lift. Number 7 is turn. Number 8 is put it back down. Then we want to wait. We want to check. So these 3 commands right here, these line commands plus the 25 and then the check, are all going to be repeated itself. So let's highlight those, copy, and let's put it down here to paste. So this is our side 3. So let's run this to the end, see what happens. So that should repeat itself. Up and turn and down. Oh yeah. And it checked the side. So now here we go. Now this is the last side. So let's put our remark in here. And this is going to be for side number 4. And we've seen this all before. It's a repeat. We're going to open the grip. We then are going to go and straighten ourselves up. We're going to close the grip. We are going to lift, turn, set it back down, wait 25/10 of a second, and then going to check to see if that's a true statement. So really, again, there they all are. So you don't have to work too hard. Let's work smarter than harder. And then let's just do copy and paste. Booyah. So let's run it to the end. See, now you can see, well, there it is. So, the controller figured it out. We had that dimple there, so you can see that this program does work. So we have a defect right there. The light didn't come on, so the robot figured it out. Right there, it did it. And that's what you're looking for. So at some point then, towards the end of the program, you're going to write the word defect as a label, and then it's going to jump down to that label and then take appropriate action to go get rid of that cube someplace, and we'll throw it in the trash bin. So this did work, but we're going to ignore that for now because we want to, actually we need to check the other sides. So this side will already be checked, so we don't have to do this one again. So then we have 3 more sides to check, and now we're going to call them side A, B, and C. So we have 3 more pieces to write in order to complete this cube to get it all the way around. But here now we have to create a new position for ourselves, because we got to rotate the cube. Not end for end, but we got to rotate it sideways 90 degrees so that we can get to the other 3 sides. So we need to open the grip. So we've done that before. We know how to do that. So let's open the grip. Now, is there a position that'll take it back to the beginning? And I believe that we said number 6 works really good for us. So let's put a 6 in there. We already know that 6 is, and if you sketch this stuff out and put it on a piece of paper and then just draw the picture, that's what I find is most helpful, is to be able to show what those things are supposed to look like each and every time, and that way I can go back to this cube and know what we're trying to do. All right, so now position 9. But you know what we should do is, let's go get the numbers for 6. So this is where we're at right now. And we have the grip open. We need to turn that. And the roll is where we want to go. So we want to roll it 90 degrees. Whoop. Before I hit that teach button, and I almost did it. You better change that number, because otherwise our 6 is going to get a 90-degree turn, and we don't want that. So now let's create position 9, teach. Before we do that, though, we want to grab that cube so we can spin it. So we want to close grip. So let's close the grip. Boop. Now let's spin it. Now let's add position 9. Sweet. Here we go. Now watch it. Here we go. Nice. Okay. So now it's a little off because we spun it. But we still can control some of that. Because we have a separate control here with number 9. So not only can we spin it, but we can also modify a couple of these numbers to be able to load it, put it back on that square so it's perfect. So looks like it's over by that much, by a line. So I'm going to move it to the left by a little bit more. So I could do, let's do -10. And I have to move it back some. So not only can we spin it 90 degrees, but we can adjust some of this stuff too, so it's right where we want it. So let's do 390. And let's teach that. So let's watch it and see where it goes. Ooh, see that? Baby. We're getting good at this. So when we turn it, we can also move it back simply because we've reached a different part of the cube, and we grab it differently each time, so you want to kind of adjust for some of that. Well, at this point then, what do we need to do? We got to grab it back. So let's open it. Let's open a claw. Let's go back to 6. Because we know we like 6. Oh yeah. So now here we go. We are right in line that we can continue now with our traditional closed grip. Go to 5, go to 7, go to 8, and finish it off right here. But what I'm going to do then is I'm just going to add a note, and we are going to say then that we are now going to check so we've already checked this one. So now let's go to side B. So let's label it side B is what we want to do, because we've already checked this one. So side A is already done, or what we called it side 4. We could actually do this if we call side 4 and side A, because it's the same thing. Now we have to check B, C, and D. So let's do that. Let's just use capital letters. It's better. Alright, so here we go. So I'm going to want to close the grip. Wait, haven't I seen this all before? Where is it up here? Here we go. I've seen this all before. So starting at 6, there it is, 6. Then we close the grip. 5, 7, 8. Wait 25. Yeah. And then check for the defect. We've done all this already. So we're going to want to close 5, 7, 8, wait 25, check, copy, paste. Alright, so let's see what it looks like. We've done all this. Yep. Over. Back down. Sweet. Okay, let's do side C. So what have we done? We want to open the grip. Yep. Where have we seen all this before? We want to open the grip, go to 6, close the grip. There they are. So let's start at open grip, go to 6, close, 5, turn it, put it back down, think about it, make the decision, copy, paste, let's do it. Open a grip, 6, close the grip, 5, 7, 8. Man, this is good stuff. And now, we've already got A done. We want to do the last one now. So we've got A done, and we're going to do B, C. Now the last one then is side D. Side D, and then that should finish it for us. So this would be the last one then. Again, let's think about this then. So we want to open the grip. We want to 6. Close grip. Go to pick it up. Rotate it back down. Wait a minute. Wait 25/10 of a second. Just wait. Okay, let's make a decision. Copy. Paste. Let's do it. Here's the last one then. Still dropping a little bit though. I mean, we could massage that a little bit. So you can see that it lifts up a little bit on the front end, and then when I open that grip it does drop it some. So somewhere along the line we could be adding a little bit of pressure on there since we've worked on it, but you know, it got the job done. It's looking at each one of the places, and we've now then checked all 6 sides on this robot to be able to manipulate that cube to check for the defect. Alright, so this is the short video that I wanted to make, just this part of it. And now we're going to move on to the next piece, where at some point then we're going to actually want to put in the word defect as a label, so that if we did find the defect we'd want to throw it in the trash bin. And then at this particular point, and we'll pick it up here from the next video, is that we move to the proximity sensor to be able to check whether it is metal or plastic. So there you go. See you next time.